Crowdfunding real estate is the next generation of property investing. It'll allow people of all income levels, all wealth levels, to invest in real estate via an online platform. We'll bring together tens or hundreds, even thousands of people who are using small amounts of their own money and pull it into a larger fund, which will then enable that money to fund a larger project. This is projects that the individual investors couldn't have done otherwise by themselves. Without borrowing lots of amount of money, without saving huge amounts of deposit, they can get into the real estate market straight away. It makes real estate investing really easy to do, and it's a very exciting new way to bring real estate investing to everyone. I got involved in real estate crowdfunding because I have a very, very deep belief that for most people, owning real estate is the absolute pathway to wealth. I look around me and I see house prices going up by the day. I see the amounts required for people to borrow getting larger, hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's incredibly risky for people. I mean, how do people even put together a deposit to buy a home and then fund that loan while they've got bringing up their kids? They've got a car loan, they've got student fees, things like that. Their day-to-day living takes up so much of people's income these days. How do they then save enough for a deposit for an investment property? It's incredibly hard to do these days, and in fact quite risky for many people to put all their assets in one other property. Through real estate crowdfunding, they can take small portions of their money and spread it across a number of projects around the country, which diversifies their risk and offers them potentially higher returns without having to save up huge deposits and borrow huge amounts of money. I think crowdfunding is the absolute way of the future, but it's here and it's now, and it will allow people, so this is what I'm really passionate about, it will allow everyone who wants to invest in real estate to do so. Crowdfunding real estate is going to impact everyone. It's going to disrupt the way real estate is bought, sold and invested in. For a start, for investors no longer have to save up huge amounts of money for a deposit, and they don't have to go to a bank and beg to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars which they then have to repay at some point in time. They don't have all that risk. They don't need to know what makes a great investment. They don't have to go to auctions. They don't have to try and buy a property. They don't need to worry about management. They don't need to worry about rents, repairs, loans, none of that. It's a very passive and very simple way for investing. Imagine being able to buy a share in property rather than a whole property. That's what it's doing. It makes real estate investing much easier and simpler for a real estate investor. And it makes it possible where otherwise it may not have been. For a developer, one of the major frustrations for developers is funding. Where the developer should be out there doing what they do best, which is developing, they get tied up with funding. So real estate crowdfunding opens up a whole new world of funding and potential to a developer to get a project done where otherwise they might not have been able to get it done. For our nation, we need more homes, we need more apartments. Our population is growing fast. The homes aren't getting built quick enough. It's one of the reasons our prices are jumping so much is there isn't enough supply. So real estate crowdfunding will open up a pool of hundreds of millions and billions of dollars to get homes built, and that's got to be good for our country. Look, the concept has been around for centuries. People coming together with a small amount of money, pooling it and using that money to get involved in a larger investment project. That's been done since time immemorial. Real estate crowdfunding, as it's known today, only started 5 years ago and only became possible because of the advent of technology and online platforms over the internet. It started in the USA and it spread very quickly across the globe to Europe, and now it's arriving here in Australia. The concept has grown so fast, there's already been hundreds of millions of dollars invested, and all the projections are that by 2020 there'll be more than $10 billion invested annually via crowdfunding. Australians are fantastic early adopters. We're very much up with technology and new concepts and new ideas. We're also avid online shoppers, and investing by crowdfunding online is almost like online shopping for your real estate investing. So I think it'll work really well. It's been extremely well received in the UK and the US, markets that are very similar to our markets, and it's grown incredibly fast. There's new platforms opening up every single day, and now they're opening up in Asia, in New Zealand, and finally here in Australia. I think Australians love property, and I think they're going to love the way they can buy a part of a property rather than a whole property. Currently, we're mostly involved in residential development projects. That could be homes, it could be apartments, it could be land subdivisions, anywhere from 3 homes to 30 to 50 apartments in a block. So Relatively small residential development projects that tend to return the investor anywhere from 10 to 15%. A little later on, we'll have clients who want a regular monthly rental yield. Now that's different because developments, sometimes the money can be tied up for 12 months, 2 years, even 3 years before you get a big cash return. So we figure that in time, people will be able to get involved in commercial projects that offer anywhere from 5 to maybe 9% per annum with a monthly check. So they start with residential development projects and a bit later on the commercial projects. Fees are a massive thing with this kind of investment. Traditionally speaking, people could have invested with real estate investment trusts or real estate funds. Those guys take anywhere from 5 to 10% up front, right out of the money you invest. So if you invested 10 grand, the amount of money invested could be $9,500 to $9,000. So they take a chunk up front, then they'll take a 2% management fee, then they'll take a success fee when the property that you've bought a part of has sold. They'll take a share of the profit. So the ongoing fees can add up to be really substantial. The fee structure with Brickraise will be less than half of that. There is no upfront fee to the investor themselves, although Brickraise does charge a fee to the developer for the capital raise. We don't charge the investor or the developer any ongoing fees. So our fee structure is much lower, and that means that the investor will have more money in their pocket because there's no middleman. We'd put the developer and the investor together, and that means higher returns for both parties. So it's coming to Australia. Brickraise will be one of the first platforms where anyone can invest online, which is so exciting for us, and I'm so looking forward to be able to offer that opportunity to Australians, because we love property.